The thought occurs to me that there's so much going on in the world right now that a lot of people are running for the hills and preparing for major uncertainty in the near future. However, I thought I'd make a video helping us envision what life could be like, or at least engage in some healthy daydreaming for a while. Well, see for yourself. This is not going to be your typical stodgy, boring, work for 15 years, save 60% of your income, deprive yourself of your life, destroy your home life and anything that really matters, such as your health. But hey, after 15, 20 years, you've arrived. And you know what? If that's you, more power to you. I'm just saying that to say, that's not this video. This video is giving us shortcuts.
Pretty good. Yeah, that could be good.
Careful. Well, you just put a bunch of olive oil. I missed it.
Exactly. Very odd.
Welcome to Frank and Angie's Retire Early Lifestyle at home or abroad. So I'm going to give you today 10 unusual retire early strategies that you may not have heard of. Take what you want and leave the rest is a great principle here. So live in a motorhome, or nowadays it's a van. Back in the day, we lived in a travel trailer, and it was part of our retire early life strategy, and we did it with children. So this enabled us to get an inside view on what it was like. Nowadays, you have people that are doing it that are spending more than people that live in a house. So be careful who you listen to. There are different ways of doing this. One of the very unusual ways that I saw one guy doing it was that he was in a travel trailer, and most people, when they think of a motorhome, van, or travel trailer, and you see that nowadays too, you see lots of people retire early, young, and they're in vans, and that's what enables them to live a life of travel. And I'm not saying you have to live a life of travel if you go for this strategy. You can use these strategies to actually live the retire early life now and travel, or you can use them as a way to actually save more money while at the same time have more freedom. I always thought that a really smart thing to do for somebody that works, say, in a factory is try to get the management to agree for you to live in your motorhome on their property while you go to work, and that way you'd have no commute. Perhaps you would watch the parking lot or keep it clean or whatever, but you get to park your motorhome there with your solar panels and you're off-grid or on-grid, whatever it is. If your motorhome's parked on the company property and you're not commuting, traveling, and spending any money on vehicle or anything at all and eating lentils and chicken, you're probably going to save 95%. You'll be retired in 3 years. You see what I'm saying? All right, stay tuned. We got 9 more to go. The next one is also quite common now. Back in the day, it wasn't so common when we were coming up, but things get commercialized and they become so mainstream, and of course the money people get a hold of them, and of course it just becomes another expensive thing to do. So number 2 is live in a tiny house, but not buying a pre-manufactured tiny house. Construct your own tiny house on again on somebody's property, or maybe it can be your own property, you know, or maybe it can be on somebody's property where you have a win-win situation, or maybe it's just people that love you and you know, work out something symbiotic. Tiny house, build it yourself is best. Number 3, I had things that I wanted to do, and one of them that I haven't done, and that's live on a boat. I had all these great ideas about living on a boat, and an amazing book I read back in the day was Sailing the Farm, which was way ahead of its time. Nowadays, there's people all over YouTube sailing and living off their boats, but back then there was no such thing. Think about it. And so it was a way to be off-grid and self-sufficient on a boat. Unfortunately, the fellow that wrote the book had a terrible accident and became disabled and was not able to live his dreams. And that's what prompts me to make these videos. Get out there and set sail. do what, in 20 years, you're going to be sorry for the things you haven't done than the things you have. Look at what's happening all around us since 2020. Live your life, even if it means not exactly the one you want, but close to it. Living on a boat might just be it, and I might just get myself a boat and go out there on the bay and use a desalinator and live in the bay here if I can figure out a way to do it. I'm always thinking about unusual strategies to enjoy life. I just happen to be one of those people that just doesn't do boring life very well. So some people, if you're really eager to stop depriving yourself and living the delayed gratification plan, listen to this video. I'm going to number 4. Live as a nomad. Now, nomad is generic, but in this case, we've already talked about motorhome and boat. In both of those cases, you can live as a nomad, but there are other ways of living as a nomad. Back in the day when I was exploring different unusual strategies to live a great fun life in the here and now, someone was talking about living as a horse nomad. Think about this before you click off. Back in the 1800s, the cowboys lived this way. They literally, you used to see it on Bonanza, they would go around with a pack and a tent and they would camp out. Now, I'm not saying that we could do such a thing year-round, but even if you did it for just a couple of months in the summertime, what a great way to enjoy life. And perhaps the best thing to do is to go abroad and do it if it's not possible where you're at. So something to consider. Imagine how little you would spend, and if you like camping and riding horses, oh my gosh, even if you just did it for a month or two, what a blast. All right, number 5 we've talked a lot about on this channel, but most people don't do it. Live abroad as a local. Yes, that means go into the special membership area and get the support you need to live abroad like a local. People think it's easy to do, but there are some challenges. Why not get some help and get some support for it? Most people don't go local when they go abroad, so consider the source of where you get your information very carefully. And why go as a local? Because you'll be able to live just about anywhere, and you won't have to wait 15 to 20 years to live your delayed gratification plan until you get to jump off the treadmill, until you have enough money. Worldwide, most developing countries, $1,000 a month is actually a pretty decent salary. It's not the highest, but it's not the lowest. It's a lower middle class income in most countries. So if you can get $1,500, that's upper middle class income. So now you're not waiting till you've got $1 million or $2 and $30,000 to $60,000 a year. So even if you do this for a few months out of the year, what a great time and what a great way to get an insight. It's like your mini vacation thing that you can do by living as a local. Now, number 6. Again, these aren't things that most people will do, but listen, if you are fed up, you're tired, you're just ready to chuck it all, it would be live as a bicycle trailer nomad. I hadn't seen this before, but it's something that came out recently. Now, if you like bicycling and if you like camping, what a great way to merge the two of them. And again, you don't have to think about doing this all year. Even if you just do this for a couple of months in the summertime, where you get on your bike and you've got this trailer that's got all your comforts in it, and you don't have to use motorized power for the cost, and just the walking lightly thing. There's lots of people now that do this, and again, it's for people that maybe aren't going to be getting on a horse, and maybe they prefer to be on a bicycle. And again, you get yourself some friends that want to do the same thing, and you're good to go. Bicycle trailer nomad sounds like a great way to enjoy the great outdoors. Number 7 is something, again, these are out-of-the-box thinking, unusual strategies to not just retire early, but to get a swift peek into the lifestyle of enjoying yourself in the here and now. So again, you could end up doing this for just a short while, a month or two. You could decide that you find a spot where you could actually do it year-round. This is similar to living in a boat, but it's in a minimalist fashion. Hear me out on this, but it's living out of a sort of kayak canoe with a sail on it. I read about a couple that was doing this back in the 70s, and they did it for a number of years out in the Bahamas. Again, It's not something most people will do, but imagine this. Follow me, don't click out yet. Now with this canoe or kayak method with a sail, the advantage is that you don't have to go all out and spend the big bucks on a boat. And the thing that most people don't understand about big boats is that the happiest times a boater will tell you is in boat ownership is when they buy the boat and then when they sell the boat. As the saying goes, just because the maintenance on live-aboard boats, it's a constant thing you have to do. So when you minimize it and go the minimalist route, this is obviously going to have to happen in a place where the weather is temperate for long periods of time. And it's basically just beach camping. The way you do it is you get yourself a kayak that's big enough to have a chest that you put all your things in it, all your foods, your stored foods, your dried foods, and you can actually do this. Nowadays you've got portable desalinators, but there's ways to do it. And the great fun thing about it would be, imagine putting your money in some investment and then living this way and literally only spending a couple $100 a month. And if you figure out a way to make a few bucks, on the way while you're at it, you may not even spend anything. So in other words, we're talking about 100%, saving 100% of your income. And how quickly could you become financially independent? And even if you don't want to go that far, just do it for a short time and enjoy yourself and see what it's really like to really enjoy life in the here and now. The number 8 is property caretaker. Now, property caretaker is also flexible. This is something we're looking into, and nowadays it's much easier to connect with people. And part of property caretaking nowadays, it's known as house sitting. And I would prefer somewhat of a medium term, not short term house sitting, like for a couple months at a time, so that you're not constantly having to fill your calendar with short-term gigs that go bad and then you've got no place to go. So in this way, you could become a property caretaker, and I don't mean work exchange. I mean true caretaker in the sense that you're there watching the property and perhaps helping feed the pets and water the plants, and that's it. Work exchange is a totally different idea, and there is that, but that's not what we're talking about. Imagine how much money you could save. You could decide to do it for a month or 2 or 3 or 4 months, or you could do it year-round. And so you could literally put your money into some investment and then just sit there and let it accumulate without any expenses whatsoever. Imagine all of the possibilities if you're flexible in your thinking. Are you with me? Number 9, minimalism. We've all heard of minimalism, but how important is minimalism? Minimalism, the way we think minimalism, is to uncomplicate your life and simplify your life. It doesn't necessarily mean to go without. It just means to reduce your life to a few things that are very manageable so that you can regain your integrity, your health, your relationships, and your home life. And for that reason, minimalism is an excellent idea regardless of where you are. And the same with that, number 10, is smart frugality. Not frugality, smart frugality. There's a difference. You see regular frugality all over the retire early forums. People saying that they want some clothes, but they're not going to buy them because they're on this delayed gratification where they can't buy anything, and because they're saving and they're investing and they're on this stodgy old idea. Well, smart frugality doesn't think that way at all. I just bought 6 brand new shirts last week. Beautiful, 100% silk, some of them, shirts. I don't fret, I don't worry about it. I've dumped 6 complete wardrobes in the last 10 years. Why? Because it enabled me to live the life I wanted and travel the world. That's why. And of course, I tend to like to accumulate comfortable, nice-looking clothes. That's why I went ahead and rebuilt my wardrobe. It was just a bad habit, and then I just end up dumping it again. So I've done that 6 times now, and I'm building it back again. Why? Because I am smart frugal. I have really nice clothes, comfortable clothes, but I don't have anything invested in it. So anyway, I hope you got something valuable out of that, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a wonderful day.